What if the secrets to building lasting wealth were discovered thousands of years ago in ancient Babylon? What if the same principles that created the richest civilization in history still work today in our modern economy? The truth is, wealth isn't built by luck or complex formulas. It's built on timeless principles that have survived for over 4,000 years. Most people struggle financially not because they don't earn enough, but because they never learned the fundamental laws of money. They chase tactics and trends while ignoring the ancient wisdom that actually creates prosperity. Today, we're diving into the financial lessons from ancient Babylon, the wealthiest city of the ancient world. These aren't just historical stories, they're practical, proven strategies that transformed common workers into wealthy citizens, and they work just as powerfully today. Whether you're drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, or simply wanting to build more wealth, these ancient rules will show you exactly how money works and how to make it work for you. Get ready to discover why some people build fortunes, while others, despite earning more, never escape financial struggle. George S. Clason wrote The Richest Man in Babylon in 1926, but the principles he shared came from ancient Babylonian wisdom dating back nearly 4,000 years. Babylon was once the wealthiest city on earth, and its citizens understood money in ways that modern society has largely forgotten. What makes this book incredibly relevant in 2026 is its simplicity. In an age of cryptocurrency, stock market complexity, and overwhelming financial advice, the Babylonian principles cut through the noise. They work whether you're earning minimum wage or running a Fortune 500 company. They work in boom times and recessions. They work because they're based on human nature and the fundamental laws of wealth, which never change. The book presents these principles through parables, stories of Babylonian citizens who transformed from poverty to prosperity. The main character, Arkad, becomes the richest man in Babylon by following 7 simple cures for a lean purse and 5 laws of gold. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes. They're the foundation every wealthy person throughout history has built upon. For entrepreneurs, these principles provide the financial discipline needed to build sustainable businesses. For professionals, they offer a roadmap to financial independence. For anyone tired of financial stress, they provide hope backed by 4,000 years of proven results. The ancient Babylonians understood something crucial. Wealth is a skill that can be learned, practiced, and mastered by anyone willing to follow the laws. Let's begin with the foundation, the 7 cures for a lean purse. These are the fundamental steps every Babylonian citizen learned to escape poverty and build wealth. The first cure is simple but revolutionary. Start thy purse to fattening. This means pay yourself first. Before you pay your landlord, your creditors, or anyone else, set aside at least 1/10 of everything you earn. In modern terms, save 10% minimum of your gross income before you spend a single dollar on anything else. This sounds obvious, but most people do it backwards. They pay everyone else first and try to save whatever's left over. There's never anything left over. The Babylonians understood that if you can't live on 90% of your income, you won't be able to live on 100% either. You'll just spend more. Start with 10%. As your income grows, increase the percentage. But never, under any circumstances, spend that first 10%. It's the seed that grows your wealth. A modern entrepreneur example from 2024 illustrates this perfectly. A freelance designer earning $4,000 monthly struggled with debt despite decent income. She implemented the Babylonian principle, automatically transferring $400 to savings the moment clients paid her. Within months, she had an emergency fund. Within 2 years, investment capital. The discipline of paying herself first transformed everything, not because of the amount, but because of the habit and mindset shift. The second cure: control thy expenditures. The Babylonians recognized that expenses will always rise to meet income unless you control them deliberately. You could double your income tomorrow, and within months you'd feel just as broke because your lifestyle would expand to match. They taught that necessary expenses and desires are different things, and desires are infinite. No matter how much you earn, you can always find ways to spend more. The solution isn't earning more money, it's defining what you actually need versus what you merely want, then budgeting strictly for needs and only moderately for wants. Create a budget that ensures your necessary expenses never exceed 90% of your income, with that first 10% going to savings. Be ruthless about distinguishing needs from wants.
Modern consumer culture makes this harder than ever. We're bombarded with messages that we need the latest phone, the bigger house, the luxury car, the designer clothes. But the Babylonians understood that these things don't create wealth, they destroy it. A 2025 case study of two professionals earning identical $85,000 salaries shows the impact. One lived in a luxury apartment, drove a new car, and had minimal savings. The other lived modestly, drove a reliable used car, and invested aggressively. 10 years later, the first had negative net worth due to debt. The second had over $200,000 in investments. Same income, completely different financial outcomes based solely on controlling expenditures. The third cure: make thy gold multiply. Saving money is step one, but money sitting idle doesn't build wealth. The Babylonians understood that saved gold must work for you, earning more gold through investment. Every coin you save should become a worker, earning more coins, which become more workers, creating an army of golden workers laboring on your behalf. In modern terms, this is investing. Your saved money should be invested in assets that generate returns, whether stocks, real estate, businesses, or other vehicles that produce income. The power isn't in the initial amount, it's in the compounding over time. Consider this: a Babylonian worker saving one gold piece monthly and investing it at 10% annual return would have more wealth after 30 years than someone who saved 3 gold pieces monthly but kept it idle. The multiplication effect of invested money is that powerful. A real example from 2024 shows this clearly. Two friends started investing the same month. One invested $500 monthly in low-cost index funds. The other saved $500 monthly in a regular savings account, earning minimal interest. After 10 years, the investor had built nearly $110,000, while the saver had only $62,000. Same contribution, massive difference due to multiplication through compound returns. The fourth cure: guard thy treasures from loss. The Babylonians knew that building wealth is pointless if you lose it to bad investments, scams, or foolish ventures. The principle is simple: invest only where your principal is safe, where it can be reclaimed if needed, and where you will receive a fair return. This means avoiding investments you don't understand, schemes promising unrealistic returns, and ventures recommended by people who aren't themselves successful with money. The ancient warning was, consult the wisdom of those experienced in handling money for profit. Don't take investment advice from your broke cousin or the person trying to sell you something. Learn from those who have actually built and preserved wealth. In the modern era, this principle is violated constantly. Every year, people lose billions to cryptocurrency scams, multi-level marketing schemes, and guaranteed investment opportunities that sound too good to be true because they are. The Babylonian rule protects you. If you don't understand how the investment makes money, don't invest. If the returns sound unrealistic, walk away. If the person pitching you isn't wealthy from the same investment, run. A 2025 entrepreneur learned this the hard way, investing $50,000 in a guaranteed return real estate syndication without doing due diligence.
The operation was a scam. He lost everything. Had he followed the Babylonian principle of guarding his treasure and only investing what he understood with experienced, proven people, he'd still have that capital working for him. The fifth cure: make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. The Babylonians encouraged home ownership, not for status, but as a financial strategy. Owning your home means your housing payment builds equity instead of enriching a landlord. It provides stability and becomes an asset your family can use. In modern context, this principle needs nuance. Home ownership isn't always the right move, especially in overheated markets or for people who need mobility. But the core wisdom remains. Your housing should be an investment, not purely an expense. Whether that means buying strategically, house hacking by renting rooms, or even investing in real estate while renting yourself, the principle is using housing strategically for wealth building. The sixth cure: ensure a future income. The Babylonians understood that you won't always be able to work. Age, injury, or illness could stop your income. Therefore, while you're able, you must prepare for the day when you cannot earn. In ancient terms, this meant buying productive land or businesses that would support you in old age. In modern terms, this is retirement planning, building passive income streams, and creating assets that generate cash flow independent of your labor. Social Security and pensions aren't enough. You must build your own future income through investments that pay dividends, rental properties that generate cash flow, businesses that operate without your daily involvement, or investment accounts that can be drawn down in retirement. A sobering 2025 statistic shows why this matters. 40% of Americans over 55 have less than $25,000 saved for retirement. They violated the Babylonian principle of ensuring future income and will face poverty in old age despite working their entire lives. Compare that to individuals who invested consistently from age 25, even modest amounts, and built million-dollar-plus retirement accounts through compound growth. The Babylonians knew 4,000 years ago what many still haven't learned. Your future is your responsibility, not your employer's or the government's. The seventh cure: increase thy ability to earn. The Babylonians recognized that all the other cures work better when you earn more. Therefore, constantly developing skills, knowledge, and value you provide to others is essential. The more you can earn, the more you can save and invest. But this doesn't mean just working harder at the same job. It means strategically developing skills that command higher pay, starting side businesses, creating additional income streams, and always growing your earning capacity. In the modern economy, this is more critical than ever. Technology eliminates jobs while creating new opportunities. The people who thrive are those who continuously learn, adapt, and increase their value in the marketplace. A graphic designer in 2024 illustrates this perfectly. She earned $45,000 doing basic design work. Instead of staying comfortable, she learned UI/UX design, studied conversion optimization, and developed business strategy skills. Within 3 years, she was earning $120,000 as a senior product designer. She increased her ability to earn, which multiplied the power of all other wealth principles. Now let's explore the 5 laws of gold, the principles for managing and multiplying wealth once you've built it. The first law: gold comes gladly and in increasing quantity to any person who will put aside not less than 1/10 of their earnings to create an estate for their future and that of their family. This reinforces the first cure, but emphasizes consistency and purpose. Save at least 10%, invest it wisely, and do it consistently for the long term. That's how wealth is built. The second law: gold labors diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment. Your invested money will multiply if invested in productive assets. Don't let it sit idle.
put it to work in businesses, real estate, stocks, bonds, anything that generates returns. The wealth compounds when your money is always working.
The third law, gold clings to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of those wise in its handling. Seek counsel from successful investors and proven experts. Don't invest based on tips, hunches, or advice from unsuccessful people. Learn from those who have built wealth through the same investments you're considering. The fourth law, gold slips away from the person who invests it in businesses or purposes with which they are not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. This is the warning about losing money to bad investments. Stick to what you understand or learn deeply before investing. Don't chase trends or opportunities you don't comprehend. The fifth law, gold flees the person who would force it to impossible earnings, or who follows the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to their own inexperience and romantic desires in investment. Avoid get-rich-quick schemes, scams promising unrealistic returns, and investments based on hope rather than analysis. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. These 5 laws protect and grow wealth once you've begun building it through the 7 cures. So how do you apply 4,000-year-old Babylonian wisdom in 2026? Start with the fundamentals. Today, right now, commit to paying yourself first. Set up automatic transfers so 10% of every paycheck goes to savings before you can spend it. If 10% feels impossible, start with 5% or even 2%. The amount matters less than the habit. Once the habit is established, increase the percentage. Next, create a realistic budget. Track every expense for 1 month to see where money actually goes versus where you think it goes. Most people are shocked. Then, categorize expenses into true needs versus wants. Needs, housing, food, basic transportation, essential insurance. Wants, everything else. Budget strictly for needs, moderately for some wants, and cut ruthlessly everything else until you're living comfortably on 90% of income with 10% saved. Third, educate yourself about investing. You don't need to become a financial expert, but you must understand basic investment vehicles, index funds, bonds, real estate, retirement accounts. Read books, take courses, consult with fee-only financial advisors who have fiduciary duty to serve your interests. Start investing even small amounts immediately. A 25-year-old investing just $200 monthly at 8% average returns will have over $700,000 by age 65. That's the power of starting early and letting compound growth work. Fourth, increase your earning ability continuously. Identify skills in demand in your field, take courses, earn certifications, build a side business, freelance to develop new capabilities. Every skill you develop increases your market value and earning potential. Finally, protect what you build. Maintain emergency funds for unexpected expenses so you never have to liquidate investments at bad times. Buy appropriate insurance to protect against catastrophic losses. Avoid debt except for appreciating assets like education or real estate bought wisely. Make financial decisions based on ancient wisdom, not modern impulses. Here's the truth the Babylonians understood. Wealth is not mysterious or magical. It's not reserved for the lucky or the brilliant. It's the predictable result of following simple principles consistently over time. You don't need a high income to build wealth. You need financial discipline. You don't need perfect market timing. You need patience and consistency. You don't need to understand complex strategies. You need to master the fundamentals. The richest man in Babylon started as a poor scribe. He became wealthy not through inheritance, luck, or genius, but by following the principles he learned and teaching others the same. You can do exactly the same. The question isn't whether these principles work, it's whether you'll follow them. Will you pay yourself first or continue spending everything? Will you control expenses or let lifestyle inflation steal your future? Will you invest consistently or keep waiting for the perfect moment? Will you increase your earning ability or stay comfortable? Will you guard your wealth or chase get-rich-quick schemes? These ancient principles have created more millionaires than any modern tactic ever will. They work in every economy, every era, every situation. They work because they're based on fundamental laws that never change. Start today. Not tomorrow, not next month, not when you earn more. Today. Even small steps in the right direction compound into life-changing results. The Babylonians proved it 4,000 years ago. Millions have proven it since. Now it's your turn to prove it.
Let's bring this ancient wisdom together. Financial success requires following timeless principles. Save at least 10% of everything you earn, control your expenses so you live comfortably on what remains, invest your savings in productive assets that multiply your wealth, guard against losses by investing wisely with proven experts, own your home strategically, ensure future income through passive investments, and constantly increase your earning ability through skill development. These aren't complex, they're simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. The challenge isn't understanding these principles, it's having the discipline to follow them when surrounded by temptation to spend, when friends are living lavishly on credit, when get-rich-quick schemes promise easy wealth. The Babylonians succeeded because they had discipline. They understood that wealth is built slowly through consistent action, not quickly through lucky breaks. Modern society has forgotten this. We're taught to consume, to buy now and pay later, to keep up with appearances, to chase trends. The result? Most people retire broke despite earning millions over their lifetime. Break that cycle. Adopt Babylonian wisdom. Let ancient principles guide modern decisions. Because here's what hasn't changed in 4,000 years: the laws of wealth. They worked in ancient Babylon, they work today, they'll work for you. All that's required is the decision to follow them and the discipline to continue following them year after year. That's how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth. That's how you become the richest person in your own Babylon. The ancient wisdom is yours. The only question is, will you use it?